Hello, and welcome back, most illustrious members of the Detail. I'm your host, D, also known as MTF Doom on Marvel Snap, and it is patch day, and it is a good patch. I hope you enjoy. Just before we get into it, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. The best way to continue that at no cost to you is with a subscription. It's the red button down below in case you are a baby who has never been on YouTube before. Welcome. I appreciate you enjoying my content. I will try to keep the gamer words to a minimum. The other thing you can do is join the Discord. We have really great conversations basically all the time with basically the most interesting people on the planet. It's a super inclusive, queer positive space. If you're not comfortable with that, suck a dick and don't join. All right, what's up? Here we go. So it's patch day. This is a regular patch. You will remember if you watch my content. Fairly recently, they announced the fact that they can now do hot fixes. Big news. Huge news. This is not one of those. This is a real patch. This is a big boy patch. The stuff that they hinted was happening, it's happening, and more. So let's get into it. We got the they've changed how the shop looks. So this was kind of confusing for people even in Discord. And like I say, if you're in my Discord, you're generally probably someone who knows how this game works slightly better than the average player who doesn't engage with content like this. And it was confusing to them. So I'm glad they did this. Basically, there used to just be the one slot for a card that you could buy that refreshed every 8 hours, and one slot for a free card that you could claim once a month. And that would also rotate every 8 hours. Now, there's a section for the new cards. So today it's Jeff, the baby land shark. When that comes out, it will be available for a whole week in this section. You have the option for 1 week after it came out to buy it for its inflated price of 6,000 tokens. You should basically never do this. But you can, if you're a content creator. This is great for the big ones, the big three, the Jeff Hoogland, the Regis, and the Dexter. Those three, this is great for. Everyone else, don't do it. Okay. Then there's the ultimate variant part of the shop. This now, it won't take up your rotation. So this is a separate section of the shop where you'll only get ultimate variants. They will tempt you to use your tokens on ultimate variants. Be strong, my children. Do not buy ultimate variants. Okay. Then we've got the part of the shop that actually matters to anyone who plays this game like a human being, and that's the Series 4 and 5 shop. This is the shop that you know. It's what it looks like right now. Every 8 hours, a new either Series 4 or Series 5 card will be introduced, and that's it. And then, and it rotates every 8 hours. We have a breakdown on what cards are kind of more worth it than not. The short answer is the big bads, unfortunately, and because everything else will eventually be free from the track, right? You could open a big bad, but the point is eventually there'll be something that you could claim for free or just open out of a cache at a 1 in 4 chance. So it's almost never worth it to spend 6,000 on Kitty Pryde unless they were to give you 8,000 back for it or something and then give everyone Kitty Pryde. That would be a weird thing for them to do. This isn't foreshadowing. Okay, then they made some updates on the game board. I assume that doesn't mean you can now put 5 cards to a spot. I assume it means there's new art. Yeah, new art and VFX. Okay, cool. We have the series drop. This is, and I'm not exaggerating, the best series drop that's ever happened. This you should be kind of hyped for, because you're finally if you're an average human player who plays this game like a normal person, this is the best series drop that's ever happened, especially the 4-3. 5-4 still not worth it for any of those. Ghost, Stature, MODOK, not worth 3,000 tokens, but the 4-3 Shuri, even with the nerf that she got, which we'll see in a second, Bast, Valk, and Black Panther somewhat, and Super Skrull for reasons I've talked about before. All of these are exceptional pool 3 cards. They're all really good pool 3 cards. None of them were worth Shuri was worth pool 4 back when she was broken. Now that everyone can have her, she's pool 3 acceptable. Isn't that funny? Isn't that so interesting how that keeps happening? Yeah, we're not going to make a big deal of that. Okay, so Shuri got nerfed. She's now pool 3. She's an acceptable pool 3 card. Bast and Valk, very, very good. Definite pickups. If you have your freebie for the month, I would definitely pick one of them up. Super Skrull should be a pool 2 card because he's tech and everyone should have access to that. And Black Panther is a perfectly acceptable pool 3 card. All right. General updates. You will now only match against Infinite. If you're Infinite, you only match against Infinite. On the one hand, I really like this because it can feel really tilting being like hard stuck in the 80s or 90s and just only playing against Infinite players. On the other hand, Infinite players are kind of like when I hit Infinite, any month that I hit Infinite, I am an absolute philanthropist with the cubes. Oh my, you want 8 cubes? Here you go, friend. Have 8 cubes. You earned it. You beat my hazmat goblins deck that I probably titled Goblin D's Nuts. You earned those 8 cubes. I hope you enjoy them. And I think a lot of Infinite players are like that. So even though it feels bad losing to them when they're playing sweaty decks, and theoretically they're also a little better than you because they've hit Infinite and you haven't, the flip side is that I think they put more cubes into the system than they take out, with the exception of, like, you know, Educated Collins, the people who are in, like, the rank 400, 500, that one dude who hit 1,000. They're, you know, they're taking cubes out of the system, I suppose. When you tap on a card for more details, it gives you the series. That's good. And the variant rarity level. Okay, that's cool. I like that. I sometimes feel like I see variants and I'm just like, have I just not seen that? Or is it just like an incredibly rare variant that no one has? Or is it just new, but now it's going to be really like common? So I'm glad they added that just for my own kind of information. And sometimes I'll get a variant and be like, I wonder if this is really, really rare or not. But this is the big one. I would much prefer not having to memorize what cards are in what series. Thank you for that. When inspecting cards in-game, you can now flip them to see the card back. Whee! After roughly 10 hours of gameplay every day, a player will stop earning Season Pass XP for the remainder of that day. Why, like... Alright. Hot take. This number should be lower, and you should get more XP until then. This should be 2 hours of gameplay. After roughly 2 hours of gameplay, you'll stop earning XP, but you earned all the XP that you would have earned in 10 hours. Also, why is it by time? Why isn't it by, like, wins or something? This is the silliest thing I've ever seen. And there's a lot of silly shit that happens in this game. Okay, anyway. Cool, there's a new sound for Squirrel Girl if she's in drag. Big fan of that. I love me a drag king. New location sound for Camp Leahy, the old drunk bastard Leahy. If the new location isn't I Am the Liquor, I'm gonna be really upset. Added VO support for Thai and Indonesia. Don't know what VO is. I'm not Thai or Indonesian. Balance updates. Okay, cool. Here's the one you've all been waiting for patiently for 8 minutes. I probably should have put this at the top, but I'm not going to. Shuri, you know what Shuri did. 4/2. On reveal, the next card you play has double power. Now, it's the next card you play at this location. If the next card you play is at this location, double its power. So, it's not just the next card. It's not just the next card here. It's both. You have to play your next card at Shuri's location to give it double power. So she can't be covered by Cosmo, right? Which is something. Obviously, if you deploy armor and then Cosmo into a different lane and then Shuri into the armor lane, you functionally have done the same thing, right? Because then you just go like, oh no, wait, actually does this change it? Because now you can't, because then you could deploy Red Skull into that lane and cover him. But now you can't do Taskmaster because Taskmaster requires the on reveal, and you can't put it in the okay, maybe this does something. Maybe this does a little something. I really, when I first read this, thought that it wasn't good enough. I thought this was very, like, silly. It's still pretty silly as far as what it does, but it's something. I appreciate this. Honestly, if I was being salty about the whole, like, well, they're nerfing Shuri now that everyone has her, maybe this is a good middle ground to be like, okay, they're nerfing her now that everyone has her, but she's still playable. Maybe. We'll yet to be seen. You won't catch me playing a Shuri deck, that's for sure. That's for Shuri. but this is better. This is better. Leech. Remember I said, like, Leech was in a good place, and now they nerf him? You know what? Shuri's in a good place. All right, Leech. Basically, so it used to be that he's a 5/3. On reveal, remove the abilities from all cards in your opponent's hand. Now he creates a delayed trigger in Magic terminology. At the start of turn 6, remove all abilities from cards in your opponent's hand. So now, I mean, you see that. You see what this does. This is cool. This is cool. Leech now does the thing that he actually is meant to do, which is stop turn 6 pop-offs. So, you know, Leech is good against the Death Wave decks and the stuff that, like, is trying to do degenerate stuff on turn 6, but is not so abysmal to get, like, played against you early, and you're just like, oh, cool. Handful of vanilla. The way fucking Richard Garfield intended. Alright, this is fine. This is fine. It's not what I had expected, but it actually is kind of, like, more elegant. I just kind of didn't expect a delayed trigger like that, but I'll take it. Lockjaw. They came for my boy. They came for my boy. The good boy. So it used to be a 3/2. When you play a card here, swap it with a card in your deck. Now it's 3/2. Play a card here, swap it with a card in your deck. Only triggers once per turn. So, honestly, like, on the one hand, obviously worse. The fact that you can't just go, like, Mjolnir, Wasp, Nightcrawler, probably in that order, but maybe reversed. No, Mjolnir, Nightcrawler, Wasp, something like that. You can't do that on, like, turn 5 and just, like, you know, pull out 30 power and it spreads out over 3 lanes. But that's probably for the best. Ultimately, the fact that you can now go, like... Honestly, I kind of like it, because you can now put something into that lane, like a 0 cost, and then follow it up with, like, an armor. Because right now you kind of can't play armor in that list because, like, it'll just shift into something else. But you want to play armor because everything in your deck is a monster threat that can get shanged and, like, usually will get shanged. So this is kind of cool. It is a nerf. Like, again, I'm not going to pretend it's not a nerf, but it does make the card more interesting in a lot of ways, and I always appreciate that. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I was, like, planning on talking about what I would play these in. The thing is, like, the Shuri and Leech, nothing changes about how you play them. Like, you're going to play them in the same list they were always good in. Lockjaw, the list might actually change, which is cool. And I'm a fan of, like... I'm a fan of this type of, like, change to a card over this type of change, but I'll take them. I'll take them all. All these are good. America Chavez. Okay, I had a person comment once about this. And I can't believe that I thought they were being conspiratorial or just, like, funny, but it turns out it's true. So previously it was, you always draw this card on turn 6 and not before. Now it is starts on the bottom of your deck and you draw it on 6. And I was like, what's the difference? Well, it turns out that, that the difference is that it used to be that Chavez, if she was the next card in your deck, and you would draw her, like, it's turn 1, she's the first card you're about to draw, what would happen is the game would just go, okay, just draw the card under her instead. But it meant that when an opponent played Yondu, they always hit Chavez. And I just thought this commenter was like, yeah, Yondu would be... Because they commented, like, Yondu would be better if he didn't have a 90% chance of hitting Chavez. And I was like, wow, that feels so real. Like, I feel like I didn't notice it until you said it, but now it's, like, absolutely real. It turns out it's literally real. That guy wasn't just making that up. They actually do hit America Chavez way more with Yondu than any other card, and now that won't happen. That's so interesting. There's another conspiracy going around that I'm not going to cover in this video, but it might be tomorrow's video, depending on how much I can research it between now and then, because it came up in Discord, and I hadn't even heard of it, but I'm really interested in it. But, like, if this is already happening, stuff like this, where the behind-the-scenes math is different from what is presented to you as a player, it lends weird credence to this other thing happening, and I'm so interested. Okay. Jubile. Now, used to be 4/1 on reveal, add a card from your deck to this location. Now, add the top card of your deck to this location. The only reason it says that now is because, again, America Chavez is not going to be the top card of your deck, unless you only had one left, and then these two would functionally be the same thing anyway. This, I guess, used to happen, and I didn't know this part either, that Jubilee used to pull America Chavez constantly because of the Chavez thing. So maybe this was known, that that's how Chavez worked. But anyway, they're reverting this to be Jubilee now pulls the top card of your deck to this location. I'm cool with that. Leader. There's a name I haven't heard. Used to be a 6/7, used to be a 6/2, then used to be a 6/7, is now back to a 6/2. But what he used to do is copy the card your opponent's played to the location to the right of here, but on your side, which sounds more silly than it is. It sounds harder to parse than it is, but you play him on the left, and any card your opponent plays in the center, you get on turn 6. Now, copy the enemy cards with the highest power played this turn, but on your side. So, Leader is now, like, Leader is probably decent for Lockjaw. Like, on turn 6, playing Leader into Lockjaw, getting something else out, and then copying what your opponent plays in the other lanes, because they, like, the Lockjaw matchup is so weird, because usually it's like, they either Shang you in the Lockjaw lane and beat you that way, or they just don't contest it, because they're like, yeah, I'm not going to beat the Lockjaw lane. They're going to pay 2 energy and get 45 power. I'm just like, yeah, they could just have it. I'll just play the other lanes. And this now gives, like, outs to that. This is great in a negative deck. This is, like, very good in a negative deck. Yeah, I don't know. I like this. I like this a lot. It isn't a strict buff, but I missed old Leader. I'm a villain. I'm a villain at heart. That's why I wear the mask. No one cared until I put on the mask or whatever. Is that blasphemous? Because that's a DC quote. But I like this a lot. And I think this shifts how you play this card. I think this will make the card C play. Maybe to the point of people getting frustrated with Leader again and calling for his just execution at this point, because they'll be so frustrated that this keeps happening. We can't keep letting this happen. But yeah, I'm a huge fan. I can't wait to not understand this interaction and kill myself with it, because, like, it's going to be one of those things where, like, if your opponent has priority and they play Hitmonkey, you're going to get the Hitmonkey, but then it's going to, like, on reveal and be twice as big as theirs. But if you have priority, you're going to get, like, something that has no power. You're going to get, like, a 3 power card, and then they're going to get Hitmonkey because it had 0. It's going to be real weird, but I'm excited to play around it. That's why Leader has the big brain. You need a big brain to comprehend all of these things. Other than that, there's some bug fixes. Tapping, duplicate. I don't know. I don't care about bug fixes. And then here's the series drop. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Editor D here. I forgot to talk. Well, so 2 things. One, that I didn't have the info while I was recording this, but it came up. Thank you, Clips. I was referring to them as Clipski in a recent video. They made it clear that you should call them Clips. Sent me this. If you pin a series 4 or 5 card and it goes through the series drop, it goes down in value. It only costs 1,000 tokens instead of 3. So they were able to pick up Valk for 1,000 tokens. So if you're interested in expanding your collection more rapidly, that is something you can do. You can look out for the series drops, pin the cards that'll be in them, and then buy them for the reduced price. So thank you, Clips, not Clipski, but Clips, for sending me this info. I'm adding it to the video, but if you were on Discord, you would already know this. Just saying. And then secondly, we have, I'm going to flip to it. We have this. I totally forgot that. I even referenced it. I was being stinky about it in the video, and I just forgot to pull it up. Everyone gets Kitty Pryde for free. You also, if you bought her, you get 8,000 tokens back. So you spent 6 to buy her, but you're going to get 8 back. So you're going to be up 2,000. And in the May patch, so probably roughly this time a month from now, everyone will get Kitty Pryde for free, which is really, really cool. Because Kitty Pryde was the card that I almost pulled the trigger on for 6,000 tokens, because I think she's going to be really good, and she goes in a lot of decks that I like to play. But basically, if you don't know what happened, she didn't work as intended, basically in any way that you would have expected. She didn't work with the collector. She didn't work with Beast. She didn't work. She just didn't work at all. So they had to nerf her, or not nerf her, disable her for a while, and then they re-enabled her, and I think she still doesn't work. And so anyway, everyone gets her. They're making a slight change. It used to be that you can return her to your hand as a free action, but the game, I feel like the game wasn't meant to be played like that. So that's why none of this worked. Now it's whenever she returns to your hand, she gets +2 power, and at the start of each turn she returns to your hand. So if you play her on 6, she does, there's no, well, if you play her on the last turn, then she just stays out. Great. But also she automatically returns. And also if you bounce her with Beast, she's back in your hand, and she costs 1 less, so she costs 0. And hopefully this will all be working the way it's supposed to be, but it doesn't right now. So she's continuing to stay, she's disabled, I believe, still right now. So that's it. I meant to mention that, and I just plumb forgot ski. That's on me. All right, now back to the outro. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you find my content elucidating, enlightening, or enriching, the best way to let me know is the things that I said all those years ago. The subscription, the Discord join, that type of stuff. If you do all those things, I appreciate you so much. If you just sat here till the end, I also appreciate you so much. It's really, really cool that we're over 225, we're over 230, we're over 235. Help me get to 250 maybe? I don't know. Let's just keep the number going up. It makes the dopamine go brrr in my brain. I can't roll my R's, and it's just so cool to be able to do this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you all tomorrow.